Hello, fellas. We are back for another edition of the Bleed Lows podcast. Garnet Asada. We have lots to cover. Dodgers go 2-6 on the road trip. Blake Snell goes on the IL, and more coming up next.
It's time for the Bleed Lows podcast.
Hello again. I am Drea. I am joined by Lalo, Anthony, and producer Roger. This episode is brought to you by DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's your one-stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat and check out DodgersBeat.com. Fellas, how are we doing? How was your week? What's going on?
I'm doing all right. Kind of similar to the Dodgers. A little rough. They changed my work hours a little bit, so I'm kind of been like all over the place. But it feels good to have like a normal day back today. But we're here.
Yeah, well, hey, we came this close. We came this close from losing 5 out of 6. So
Yeah.
I'll take the 4 out of 6 now because I mean as terrible as it was okay. You know, there was some cool things in there, and we'll get to those here in a minute.
Yeah, it's early. We're doing good. I mean, we're ready for baseball tomorrow back in LA, so it's all good.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman, right? Tomorrow, Bobblehead night, World Series, Grand Slam. So, that's going to be a popular one. I think we're taking on the Chicago Cubs, if I'm not mistaken. But before we go into all of that, it wasn't just Freddie who was limping the last, week or so, or, kind of showing his injury because the Dodgers themselves were limping. They lost 2 of 3 to Philadelphia, 2 of 3 to the Nats. And if you've looked at social media, there seems to be quite a bit of panic. Gentlemen, is there reason to panic already in the season?
Yeah, we should
Nah.
just give up now.
What? No, I mean no. Obviously he's kidding. Obviously he's kidding. There's
I
no need
love
to
the
panic,
early
everybody.
doom and gloom, especially this early in April. Not knowing that like baseball has its ebbs and flows. We're kind of wanted right now on the downside right now, but if we come back and we sweep the Cubs, I think moods would be back up. So it's kind of just like here or there. I don't really put a lot of weight into a loss unless like this road trip, they pretty much shot themselves in the foot multiple times. So that's kind of annoying, but yeah, I kind of just like on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had spoken weeks prior about the culture that's out there, and these losses will come and go, just like Anthony said, and everything will be all right as long as they don't panic, right? And I think the fans have a lot to do with it. Sometimes people do start panicking, they're starting naysaying at the games and whatnot. I think we just need to cheer them on no matter what, and hope for the best and have some fun with the ups and downs.
Yeah, we're seeing the fire Roberts already, so it might be a little premature for that. Because we just extended him. He's not getting fired, people. He's going to be in it. So I think you're right. We just need to calm down a little bit. But us Dodger fans, we're spoiled. We expect to win every single game, every single day, and that's just not how it works. But I think we'll be all right. But I think one thing that was concerning was did you guys catch the Glassnow start?
Yeah, I did.
Raining, yeah. And he was kind of trying to mess around with his cleats, and no one seemed to come and help him. But yet, when the inning switched, the grounds crew, here they come for the other team. But it made me wonder, could something have been done for us? Should they have called in a cleaning crew? What happened there in that inning?
I think the bottom line is oops, sorry, I pulled out some scissors. I didn't mean to do that. It was kind of bottom line is the Dodgers grounds crew is probably the best, and a lot of pitchers and other ball players will say that not only is the grounds crew the best, but it's the mound is touted as probably the best mound in all of baseball. So I mean, it's going to happen in those areas, and sometimes we see or we feel it might be a bit of sabotage, but we got to do with what we got. And who knows? I mean, it's all speculation, and you're absolutely right. Though something could and should have done if it were in LA, something would have been done even if it were the opposing team.
Well, I mean, I think he could have. I was hearing on the broadcast, and I know he could have called them out to come and work on it, because it just looked like once it started raining, he got the dirt in his cleats, right? It kind of threw him off. It kind of messed up his game. And I think if you probably would have just called them in, they would have come out. They would have, worked on the field. And I kept hearing, I think it was Carol still on the call, like, yeah, they could come out, but a couple of minutes later, it's just going to get all muddy again because it was raining. It continued to rain. So it's kind of like, should they stop the game at that point, or kind of what's going on? Because like you said, as soon as that inning was over, the grounds came out. They tidied it up. They put new, they dried it up real good. Ready for Philadelphia. But I am thinking that he probably could have called them out and kind of see what they could do. To me, also, I'm thinking is, he's kind of feeling like he's slipping, and the last thing you want is for Glassnow to get hurt, right? So he's pitching. You can tell he's already pitching, kind of now with caution. Kind of, he doesn't want to do something where he's gonna slip, hurt his leg, hurt his arm, something. So I think kind of that's what I felt was going on with Glassnow in that start.
Yeah, something I worry about especially with tall players, is their lower body. So like potential for like a tweaked ankle here or there, and like we already saw what happened with Freddie, freak accident in his bathroom. So that's another like freak accident, like where he goes to like plant his foot and it just slips, could lead to like disastrous results for us. If anything, I think he was just out there trying just to like not let the mound get to him. Eventually, it did. I wish he would have called for some assistance at least to like lay some new dirt on there. But yeah, it was. We all know they weren't going to help the Dodgers out there unless Glassnow asked for it. They were kind of just going to let him go out there and basically what happened, self-implode. So yeah, if it was here in LA, it probably would have been a different story. But can't complain about it now.
I mean, at that point though, I mean, if I'm Glassnow, I'm having them come out, dry it up, and he goes on there, feels it out, but still not feeling right. Have them come out and fix it, right? I mean, I think he's at that point where they have to fix it for him, right? So I think, I mean, I don't know how much he could have stayed out there and just say, hey, it doesn't feel right, right? It doesn't feel right, but it is what it is, right? And obviously, it did it threw his game off, but it is what it is. Like we said, we learn from it and we move on.
I mean, my question just with that one to kind of put a bow on it is that, you saw his hair getting wet, his lovely hair, his locks were, he was glistening. And not that I'm not complaining, hey, he looked great, but what makes them finally call a rain delay? Because it doesn't seem like there's consistency when I watch some games. Like, okay, for some teams or some instances, they call rain delay, but here they were not going to do that. So I just saw people in the chat, people in social media saying, hey, why don't they just call the game? But that wasn't happening. At what point does that happen if it's raining that hard? And I don't know.
Points to ponder. I love how you put a ball on it. I love that. That's perfect. I love that term. We're gonna have to incorporate that term. All right, so we put a ball on it. What have we got next, guys? What are we gonna? I know we're coming back to town, and tomorrow's Freddie Freeman bobblehead giveaway, and it seems like just from the looks of it that it's gonna sell for a whole lot more than this Ohtani thing that happened last week. And I mean, that's just preliminary. I think we're at the day before, and StubHub's showing like minimum like 170 or something like that. That's just like the
higher than Ohtani, right?
It is because I was at the Ohtani one, and I was kind of watching as the game was about to begin, and there was still some boxes left at some of the lines that there was nobody in line. The tickets were like right before game time they were going for about $95. So
the Dodgers changed it for them now. It's now anyone that buys a ticket, you guarantee yourself an Ohtani bobblehead at least. So you won't have people out there waiting in line like at 4 and 5 in the morning.
Well, I did.
They were out there this week doing that.
Yeah, I heard that they had posted that the day of the game. I was listening to it while I was kind of roaming around at the pregame, showing up there early and all that good stuff. And then I understood that they took it back. So I wasn't sure which was true, because it would make sense, because I can't believe they didn't give away the 40,000, because like I said, there was plenty of boxes left there, and it'd be a nice change if they do something like that. But for sure, what they did get away with is you couldn't show up with 10 tickets and walk away with 10 bobbleheads. They would make you get back in line if you wanted to do something like that. Which I suppose it's a double-edged sword. If you're going out there just to capitalize on the bobbleheads, then that's one thing. But I'm glad they did away with that.
Well, I think with like Ohtani in particular, I think that you've got people coming in from Japan, people he's so global that you've got so many people coming in saying, I am going to be there. And I think they probably wouldn't want the bad press if there was fights, or if there was like, I came and get my bobblehead. And so I think personally, they make way more than 40, 50, 60,000, guarantee everyone, and then probably additional promotions. That's just my theory on it. And Ohtani's probably unique to that. Because I know tomorrow when I check the site, Freddie is only the first 40,000 fans.
Yeah.
And they haven't changed that at all online. That's what it says.
For all the Ohtani bobbleheads that are coming up, they've switched it to whoever has a ticket is going to get a bobblehead. Yeah.
All right.
And
cool.
I mean, for as far as I know, for like Freeman and any of the other ones coming up, it's still 4. So, but this free, by the pricing, that I think every Dodger fan wants this bobblehead because of what it means, right?
Of that moment
for the Dodgers, that moment is historic moment, a moment that you're going to be talking about 40, 50 years down the road. So everybody wants this bobblehead, right? So it'd be nice if they'd say, hey, everybody that's coming in is going to get it, because they're doing. I mean, if you look, like you mentioned, the reseller, StubHub, TickPick, a couple of days ago it was like 210. Today it might be like 170. But even on the Dodger website, that's the cheapest ticket going in. It's about $170. There's nothing that you could have gotten less than. So it's an expensive ticket.
It's expensive. Yeah. I know they're selling for upwards of like $250, $300 on eBay already for pre-sale, for people that are saying, hey, get your Freddie bobblehead. So this is going to be one of those iconic bobbleheads that everyone's going to want to get their hands on tomorrow. I still have mine from last year, my Freddie. I put a Band-Aid on his ankle last year to cure him, because I'm into all of the Saints and the Santeria and all the stuff that I have to help my Dodgers. But I'm actually going to be there tomorrow. I'm going to get my.
All right.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting.
So I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a line like Ohtani. Like, I showed up there. I was covering that game, so I showed up at, honestly, maybe like 2 that day, and there was a line already going down the street, going towards the academy, and then that's when they announced like everybody that's coming in. So tomorrow, like I said, it's not a guarantee. So I'm 40,000. So I'm going to guess there's going to be a huge line again to get in, even though it's not Ohtani.
So get there early, Drea. Leave work early. Get there. So
yeah. I mean, but also I've also heard, and I remember when I've gone to bobblehead games, I would show up maybe about 5:30, and I'd be okay. If you're getting in there 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:10, 6:15, you're usually okay. But that was last time I went for a bobblehead game was probably about a year or 2 ago. So, things have changed.
Things have changed. I mean, it's going to be fun, but I'm excited. I mean, you don't have to force me and twist my arm. I love going to Dodger Stadium no matter what. But yeah, for sure, it's going to be crazy tomorrow. But then we also have another injury after Freddie, because Freddie probably is going to come back to Friday night's game. But our other acquisition, our big fish from the offseason, Blake Snell, he is on the IL with shoulder inflammation, and I believe he had said it had been bothering him for a few weeks, which sort of jives with his first 2 outings. He didn't look as crisp as I think we were expecting him to look. So, what's our level of concern with that? What does that mean for the 6-man rotation? Because obviously that's going to force the Dodgers' hand to move some pieces.
I'm a little concerned whenever I hear shoulder inflammation or elbow inflammation, just because it's very vague. You really don't know what's going on in there. As far as the rotation, it just means it's a chance for someone down in OKC to step up. We saw two performances, Landon Knack and Justin Robleski. So it gives an opportunity for someone to kind of go up and say like, "Hey, I do belong on the big league team while Blake's away on the IL." So a little bit concerned for him just because shoulder inflammation is kind of vague. You really don't know if he'll be an issue for months or just like a couple weeks, or if he'll need surgery. So just the level of vagueness kind of is the more concerning part for me.
Yeah, it just changes. It changes the soap opera for us because in the end, I think the farm system's amazing, and just like you said, Anthony, it gives that next guy an opportunity, and some of these guys probably wouldn't get it if it wasn't for an injury. And it's such a great farm system, and these stories are of going up and down, quite amazing. So, we'll take it as it comes because the last couple of years we had probably the greatest starting lineups at the beginning of the year, and then towards the middle, we just had terrible lineups, but we still pulled it through and managed the World Series last year. So, none to worry. It's a great story. There's always going to be something developing out of it, and I just look forward to seeing somebody come up and do something amazing.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, it is concerning, just because it like Anthony was saying, it's kind of so vague. If you go back to last year, Gavin Stone went same thing, shoulder inflammation. Yamamoto, kind of same thing, right? Yamamoto comes back a couple months later, Stone's out, for the year, had surgery. Kind of same thing with Bruzdar. Bruzdar kind of had the same thing, or kind of shoulder issues. He had surgery, and he probably won't be back till maybe mid this year or towards late this year. So the initial thought is couple starts, maybe, hopefully. They're shutting him down for a couple of days, I believe, until like Monday, and then he's going to kind of start seeing how he feels again. But yeah, it is, it's like as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh great, here we go again, right? This whole thing has been built on depth, right? They got Sasaki, they got Snell, right? Kind of to go in with these other guys, kind of what we kind of had last year, right? Guys were there, and then they kind of started getting hurt, and I think kind of that is what affected also this past road trip, right? You had, you call up, Robleski, you call up Knack. To reason you had those two guys in there is, right, obviously, one, the injury, and two, they want to keep some of these guys, Sasaki, Yamamoto, on the once a week, so kind of like that 6-man rotation. So you kind of had to throw those guys in there when kind of maybe they weren't quite ready yet, right? We've kind of seen that with Robleski. He's, he had a good spring. He's kind of shown his flashes. Same thing with Knack, but they went out there kind of, and it wasn't their greatest starts. So we'll see what happens with Knack. I mean, I think he's going to stick around probably for at least another start, and I think, like Anthony was saying, let's see what some of these other guys. I mean, remember Bobby Miller is still in OKC. Yeah. Tony Gonsolin is rehabbing in OKC. So the first guy we're probably going to see is probably like Gonsolin, maybe like in maybe 2 weeks. Probably Knack one more time around, and then maybe Gonsolin after that.
Wow. And Bobby Miller, has he been doing okay in OKC? I only saw one stat line for him. It didn't look super
I think
good.
he had one start that was good, his first start, and the second was as good. So
yeah, he got roughed up in his last start.
Okay. So we'll see. I mean, I know he has the stuff. I just feel like he's been in his head ever since he had those shakeups last year.
It doesn't help that he took that ball to the head and early in spring training, his very first. Yeah, that doesn't help at all for the
Not at all.
Yeah, so I mean, Bobby Miller is one of those guys that, like, his rookie year, he showed a lot of promise, right? And we were looking at this guy. This guy's the real deal. And then last year, it could have been a number of things last year. A lot of people thought he was hurt last year, and he was pitching through injuries. So I'm still riding that train for Bobby Miller. I'm hoping he comes up and kind of, and does his thing. But kind of right now, obviously you don't want to see Snell hurt, but like you said, there's that opportunity right now to kind of prove you belong and prove you can be up here, in the show.
No, and improving it. I think we've seen some of our dogs come up to the plate and are up to bat or on the mound. And I've loved seeing Casparius. I don't know what you guys have seen as far as our relief pitching, but he's been amazing. I think we have some other guys that have been really showing up for us. So our bullpen might be saving us again this year. We'll see. But they had a lot of innings this week, and so we got to let them rest too. We don't want anything to happen to them. Has anyone else impressed you from the bullpen besides Casparius?
Well, other than the grand slam that Bessia gave away,
No,
I thought he seems to have like a knack for the dramatic. He'll let a couple guys get on, but then he'll wrap it up. So he did a great job. And then what was the other? Scott did the three pitch, 3 outs, something that hadn't been done in 20 years or something like that. That was on Saturday. Yeah, so that was pretty wild. I mean, I know it's a little bit of luck, a little bit of defense, of course, and but still quite an impressive little thing to remember.
I mean, real quick before we continue with the bullpen. Speaking of defense, I know Dre, you probably caught this play yesterday with Kike Hernandez.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you got to give props for that play that Kike made. He saved that game, right?
I want, and I'm looking forward to meeting him at the end of the month. He's going to be doing a signing.
What?
So first in line, this one. But yeah, I love it. Has he not looked great at first base though?
He's been amazing.
Come on, that boy can play everywhere. And so, yeah, I'm a little worried because first base can be tricky. That's a very tricky place, and we're so lucky with Freddie being, a million feet tall and can stretch himself out. But Kike, he puts his whole body into it and he makes it happen. So I'm loving him there. But of course, I also want to see Freddie back, and I'm excited and put Kike into his, other roles that he can kick butt for us. But that was great. That was a great play. Gucci made a great play at shortstop. People were giving him hassle too, and he really made it happen. I think it was the last game he made this great play at short. So I mean, he'll be all right. I just think we overreact sometimes to a couple of bad plays here and there.
But going back to what you're saying about the bullpen, I mean, Casparius has looked really, really good. Jack Dreyer looked really good as well. And those guys actually got some high praise from Roberts during this week. When they were kind of discussing their roles, and he was saying, Casparius and Dreyer are both kind of guys that you can kind of give them multiple innings, kind of, and it depends too. He's trusting them where they could go in leverage, or he could put them in where the game might be kind of getting away. It kind of needs to hey, let's kind of bring this back in. These guys, I can trust these guys to kind of keep it where it's at. So those guys they're showing up, part of that bullpen. And for the most part, like I said, they've worked, but that bullpen is continuing to put up big innings up for the Dodgers.
No, I agree. Totally agree. I mean, they're putting their game face on. They're not letting the moment get too big for them, not letting the game speed up on them. And I think that bodes well for the future of some of these young guys. But I mean, there's been a lot of good news. Not just that. We have, some of our Dodgers are on the home run leaderboard. We've got Teo hitting, Edman hitting. We've got Shohei almost hitting for the cycle this week. And I don't know if you guys saw their new celebration that they're doing from Shohei's Japanese commercial. That is the new awesome one. I love it. I think it's super cute. You can tell they're enjoying themselves. But all in all, it's just been really good for the future. You can see there's potential there, even though we had some rough outings. But another start the party Los Angeles moment was, if you guys remember, the last out ball that was thrown from Walker Buehler to Will Smith. You remember that moment? I'm not going to forget that ever for the rest of my life. But that ball, Will Smith's foundation and Walker Buehler's foundation, they agreed to put that one up for auction, and it sold this week for $414,000, and the proceeds are going to help LA fire recovery. So I thought that was pretty awesome to see them do that for LA, because obviously that's an amazing ball to have. Who wouldn't want that?
Do we know who bought it?
I don't. Do you guys know? I don't know who bought it.
Oh no, I don't know.
I don't think it was mentioned.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I mean,
and I mean,
what to be revealed.
I mean, who knows what are they going to put it in their collection? What are they going to do?
Is it an investment? Yeah.
I mean, are they going to give it away? You know, if you want to give it away, you know, you can probably find my information, contact the site, you know, hey, you know, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, it's right there. DM.
All right,
me.
so let's get it. So if you did have a chance, if you guys any one of you guys had a chance to get any one piece of game day memorabilia, what would it be?
Okay, I need a second to think about it.
Come on, Anthony, you got the answer right there. Tip of your tongue.
I would love to have the baseball that Fernando threw for his perfect game. I would love to like just have it and just like show off, like, yeah, I own that. That's mine. But yeah, it's like because
for Fernando's no hitter, right?
Oh, for no hitter, yeah, my bad. Because like it just like resembles a lot. Growing up, my grandpa was a big baseball fan. Wasn't a Dodger fan, but he was a Braves fan. But he would always say Fernando. Just growing up, that's the name that I always heard growing up. So it'd always just be cool just to kind of like have it and be like, yeah, that's something I own. More recently, I think it'd be funny to have talking about celebrations, the bubble machine, the one they used back like in I think 2014. Yeah, I think that'd be just funny to have. Just like, yeah, it's such like an obscure like celebration because celebrations were really like frowned upon back then. And I remember the Dodgers were like one of the first teams to like celebrate at least home runs and stuff. I remember that. So just having like I think they were calling it the foam party, even though it's just like bubbles. But yeah, I would love to have that too.
Would you have like a party and use it at the parties and we just celebrate?
Yeah, every home run I would like set the machine off.
That would be
I definitely think they should bring that back. For years, I think they should bring that back. And I don't know, probably not the same one, but I know recently they've had like one in the clubhouse. I've seen it, but I don't know if they what they used it for, or like maybe after games they would run it. But definitely, I think that's one of the cool celebrations that it should be brought back.
All right, so I'm gonna go with if I could have any piece of memorabilia, it would be Oral Hershiser's. I'm gonna say his glove after he threw the 59th inning in a row without a hit. That would have been great. I mean, or scoreless.
The scoreless streak.
It was the scoreless streak. That was amazing. That whole moment was just wild. The way it all just kind of manifested itself in extra innings, and they threw him back out there, and he was just kind of humble about it to see. To have it happen, and he just kind of like that was great. And then the silly one, if we're gonna talk silly memorabilia, it would have to be Kike's banana suit. I'll go with that.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's when everyone fell in love with Kike.
I'll take either one.
Would you wear it? Would you wear it?
I would, yeah, of course. Especially if it was that one, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't wear a one, but if it was his, yeah, I would be like, yeah, this is not just a banana suit. This is the banana suit.
Yeah. I'm struggling because if I can't have decoy, I will take one of two things. Although one
decoy is not memorabilia though. Decoy is not memorabilia.
I know. So in my, not this room, this is one of my autograph rooms, but I have a different room that has some big framed autographs. And one of the pictures, if you guys remember the Get It Out of the Ocean ball that
it went over.
And I met the guy at one of these events that actually not right around the time I was meeting Roger. His name's McCovey Cove Dave. He's the one that's out on the kayak.
The kayak, yeah.
He's out there every game, every Giants game, and he went for that ball and he brought it. I saw him ask Muncie to sign that for him, and I got to touch the ball. I got to, take a picture with the ball, and I wanted to run away with the ball. That would be. I wish I could have that one, but because I have a picture in my room of that moment where he was pointing like to him. He was.
Bumgarner.
Yeah, Madison Bumgarner. He was, pointing. I thought that was great. But I guess if I had to pick a more recent one, it would be the Freddie Freeman bat. That bat is for Grand Slam. The Grand Slam.
Iconic, for sure.
Do you have one, Roger?
So we're talking all Dodger history, right? Going back to
give it to us, all of it. Go all the way back to 1888, Raj. That's the limit right there.
I mean, you can go back to I don't know if I go that far, but even having a Koufax ball, maybe from one of his no hitters or his perfect game, something like that, or like Anthony was saying, that Fernando ball from his no hitter. That's I'm a huge Fernando Valenzuela fan, obviously. Growing up watching him, that'd be iconic. But one of the things that I'm thinking, and to this day they don't really know where it's at. There's been kind of stories of maybe
Gibby's ball.
Yeah, the Gibson home run. Nobody knows where that ball. There's been stories of where people kind of they thought it might have been here, they might have had it here, but no one really knows where that ball. And now it's like, even if somebody has that ball, you can't say, yeah, this is a ball and get it, authenticated because it's been so long, right? Like now when something happens, they authenticate that ball like on the spot right there and then, and they know where it's from. But I mean, imagine to have that, and I know that ball somewhere, like and maybe the person who has it doesn't even know that ball is
right. And if that's the case, it could have already been long gone.
I mean, maybe somebody had it, and it was like kind of the sandlot, and they took it out in the field, and they just started and so.
That's right.
But it'd be cool to know where that ball is, to have that ball, kind of, because that's kind of like that one icon. That's kind of not like all the Freddie stuff. That's that one iconic moment that we've seen for the last 30 years.
It's got to be lost. There's no way somebody has it and hasn't divulged that they have it. There's no reason to do that. I can't see any reason why.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I've read stories they kind of thought it was somewhere and kind of just, but yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened to that ball.
Crazy. That is interesting. I would love to know that. But yeah, no, I think that it is just fun to think about all the cool things, because Dodgers have one of, like, all teams have their history, but I think Dodger Stadium's like a museum. If you go there, it feels like there's every 2 steps you can read about just a really cool moment in Dodger history and things that have happened there that are just, everything feels iconic. That's why I love going so much. But speaking of Dodger Stadium, we have a little bit of a fun fact about Dodger Stadium. Do you guys know what today is?
I bet Anthony does.
Thursday. Today's Thursday night.
Thursday, yeah, today's Thursday.
Thursday.
It is.
The day before Friday.
The day before Friday.
No, it's actually happy birthday, Dodger Stadium. It opened in 1962. So April 10th, 1962, which makes it, do the math for me, boys.
63 years.
63 years old, yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not a math teacher. That's not my specialty, but it's 63 years old today. And some, I guess, other facts, maybe not the first one being as fun, but I guess on this day they lost the first game, followed by the second day. That's their first win at Dodger Stadium, which would have been April 11th, 1962. So on Freddie Freeman Grand Slam bobblehead night, that's the anniversary of the first win. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sandy Koufax was the pitcher on that day. So
Sandy Koufax.
A little trivia for you guys. But I was curious, you guys have any special fun memories when you've been at the stadium that stand out to you? Like, this is my favorite memory being there.
Oh my! Well, I got quite a few, but some of my favorite ones have been like that involve my kids. When they were young, I used to have them in the junior Dodgers, and I would, I would make sure that they do all the Dodger bingo and all the activities, and a couple times they won a couple things. I think probably my favorite would be that they got to go out in front of the before the game and shout out that it's time for Dodger baseball. So that was cool. That was a really cool moment for my kids, and to see them out there on the field and participating in that pregame ritual. That was amazing, because they were on the big screen. They hammed it up, they were waving to everybody, and they were about, I don't know, I'm going to say about 8-9 years old. So that was, to me, that was, personal favorite, just to see them out there on the field participating.
Oh, that's a bucket list one. It's time for Dodger baseball would be incredible to say. I would love that. Do you have any, Anthony, that you have that stand out in your mind?
So actually this day, it's a little bit more special on a personal note. It's also my dad's birthday.
Today?
So I'm a happy birthday as well, too. Yeah, today.
Tell me is he 63 also?
No. He's gonna hate me if I say he's 63. No. He's a little bit younger. A little bit younger.
All right.
But for whatever reason, the first memory that came to mind was actually the first time I went to a playoff game. It was 2014. We were playing St. Louis. Game what? Game 2. Matt Kemp hit that home run that won us the game essentially, and that was like the first time I've ever experienced like a playoff atmosphere.
Mania.
It
That's
went
awesome.
like this because I remember specifically. I think JP Howell gave up the homer to Carpenter like maybe an inning or two before that. So the mood was just dead. Matt Kemp comes up, hits the homer, and like I've never heard a stadium like erupt like that before. Because I've gone to regular games and like it gets loud, but like that was a different like level of loud. And like ever since then, I've been like we've been spoiled because we've had so many playoff runs, and like I've been to very other playoff games. But I tell my friends all the time, like who've never been to a playoff game, like you got to go to at least one. You got to go to at least one. I know it gets pretty pricey and stuff, but trust me, when they're on and they're winning, that energy in there, it's something that you can't even like describe. It's just like so like it's really hard to put into words, but like I've never felt like such the mood change in like a span of like 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
See, that's why you can never leave the stadium early, because I have unfortunately left on a few occasions in the 7th or 8th inning when it kind of looked like it was out of our reach, only to be driving home and listening on the radio that they came back. I think there was it was 2 years ago when I think there was a James Outman walk-off, and we were down by like, I don't know, 4 or 5 runs. I think it was against Tampa Bay. I had went and I was like, I'm out of here, because I get kind of pissy when they're not winning and it's late. I work the next, all these things. I start making, and I learned that day, do not leave, because I think, Lala, we were at a game when there was a walk-off. Am I right? Like,
yes.
And I stayed. It was freezing. And I stayed, and I realized that this could be a walk-off, and it was the Mookie walk-off that we just had recently.
Right.
So I was 10th. I think it was 10th inning too. And so I do not leave anymore. You just never really know. They can come back, like you said. Anything can change in the span of 5 to 10 minutes, like you said, Anthony.
Makes it all worthwhile.
All worthwhile, for sure. So,
I know Anthony mentioned the Cardinals. I think that was a different series. I was at one. It wasn't good, right? It was in 2008 when Jonathan Broxton was pitching for the Dodgers, and he gave up that home run bomb to Matt Stairs that I think is still going out over the right field bleachers. I think it's still somewhere out there. So I mean, there's memories like that, right? Where I was at games like that. There's memories of I was actually at a no-hitter, but we were on the wrong side of that no-hitter by my primo.
Arrieta?
By my primo, Jake Arrieta.
Jake Arrieta, yeah. I was there.
He's not actually my primo, but I was there. You know, to see a no-hitter is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And to, but we're on the losing side. But I was also, I think one of my favorite memories is I was there with my son, and we saw, it was Vin Scully's last home game. He was on the call, and that's the Charlie Culberson home run to walk off that game. I was there at that game, so that was a pretty cool moment. They clinched the division that day over the Giants. So, obviously didn't get to hear the call, the Vin Scully call at that time, right? And heard it after. But yeah, I was at that game. Pretty cool moment to be at that game.
Oh.
Hey, and I'm gonna recommend something that a little something that I do every now and again, because Dodger Stadium is open like when they're not having games. You could show up there to go to the Top Deck. The Top Deck store is open, and you can go. And what I'll do is I'll take my little Bose speaker, and then I just play some old Vin Scully and just kind of sit there and chill out and listen to the ghost of Vin. So I don't know. It's just something to behold, because when we were young, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Anthony missed this, but when I was young, everybody used to take their little radios, and everybody would have radios, and we'd be listening to Vin Scully at the stadium just with tons of tiny little radios with the little antennas and whatnot, and that was great. So even though we were at the game, you could still hear them. And I know Field Level gets it in the restrooms. They get the telecast in the restrooms, but that's only Field Level and of course beyond. But just a little hack, okay? This is my recommendation.
Yeah. That's what made me a Dodger fan, is listening to Vin as a little girl. Like, I remember sitting in my grandfather's living room and he would watch me after school and he would have the game on. I'd hear Vin's voice and I just can hear it, like just those best memories when you're young and you're carefree still. And, you got some baseball on in the background and that soothing voice of Vin. And I remember all his little cliches. And before I even really understood, how much I was going to fall in love with baseball, I fell in love with that voice and I just loved hearing it. It reminded me of just the happiest times, when you're still, right. Life hadn't got crazy yet. So I just love that. That reminds me of just my happiest times with my grandfather. But I'm just going back to the, best memories. I don't even know if it was mine completely, but my dad actually won the fan appreciation car in the 90s. So
what?
Gift card.
That's cool.
And
that's awesome.
It says Dodger fan. He still has it. He is absolutely and I don't win anything. Like in life, I have no luck. I don't win a raffle. But he, won it. And so the whole family came down on the field, got the picture, and it was kind of cool.
Wow.
So yeah, that's probably cool. The family memory of at Dodger Stadium. So that's pretty awesome. I don't think they do cars anymore though. So it's really just other gifts.
I don't think they do fan appreciation. I don't think they have fan appreciation
in the last 2 years, right?
It's always the last.
Where they give away this stuff?
Game of the year.
The last time I went, it was like at least 2 years ago. It was on a Sunday. The last Sunday.
It's the second to the last game of the year.
Yeah.
But do they do the giveaways? Because I remember they used to have tons of giveaways, like during the day. Like,
right. They do like entire rows. They'll do like they'll say like reserve level, this section, this entire row will win something. So, they have been doing it. I just never win.
Yeah. We used to try to go. We sit in the heat and try to win something, but that was the only time we ever really got anything from that. But it's cool. It was cool to just be there. Who doesn't love Dodger Stadium and potential to win prizes? But yeah, we're just going to start getting ready to wrap it up. I know they play, I think it's the Cubs next and then the Rockies. Am I right? So those are the next two series coming up. So
you're right about that. You're right about that. But it's put a bow in it.
So, I say that in class, and I think that's probably my teacher voice. Okay, let's kind of bring it home, guys. Let's put a bow on this lesson, and that's
So real quick before we go, then. So they got three Cubs, 3 Rockies.
Yes.
What's the record for at the end of those 2 series? How many wins? How many wins in these next 6 games?
Let's see here. Hold on.
The Rockies are going to play a start.
It's not going to be easy.
4 wins.
4-2.
Yeah, 4-2.
4-2. I'll take 4-2.
Okay, sweep. We're sweeping them. We're sweeping everyone, so I can.
Let's go! All right, Roger. You said 6-0. You too, right?
No. I'll go 5-1.
5-1. Okay, 2 4-2s, 5-1, 6-0. We'll catch you guys next week and see who came out on top.
Definitely. So we'll see. Yes, I'll be at a couple of games too. Got some why are there scissors in the shot?
You know what I've been doing? I've been cutting out these little.
You're cutting Dodgers.
Yeah, it's the the Dodger insider that they give at the game. So I've just been kind of cutting them up and. Sorry, guys. I'm keeping myself busy over here. That's what I get for sitting in my wife's craft room. So, all right, guys.
Oh, well, this has been amazing. So I think that's going to do it for us on this episode of the Bleed Lost podcast. Make sure to check out DodgersBeat.com and the entire Bleed Lost network on YouTube for interviews, behind the scenes, locker room content. You'll see, all your stuff with Sasaki right there. He's got it in the frame, but you name it, everything that you need to know about Dodgers is there. And if you like the content, please like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, all the good stuff. We are very excited to talk to you next week about all things Dodger baseball. And this episode is brought to you by DodgersBeat.com. So until next time, let's go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
Let's go.